When a self-driving Uber fatally struck a pedestrian in 2018, public outcry immediately blamed the tech giant. But as with many things in life, the truth is far more complicated. Turns out 5 separate parties shared some responsibility for that Arizona crash. And the fallout has huge implications for our roads today. So what exactly happened in Arizona? Well, first we have the human in the loop, the one in the front seat. But what exactly does that mean in a level 2 or 4 autonomous car? Is this person a driver, an operator, a monitor, or just a passenger with a steering wheel? In that case, the human did intervene, but only after the car had already made a mistake. So in a weird way, the human ultimately became the reason why the car's mistake went from a mistake to a tragedy. But let's take a different case where human override was not a factor. Imagine a scenario where a Waymo car T-bones an old Toyota in an intersection. After the accident, investigators find no evidence of mechanical failure in either vehicle. But the abstract concept of a mistake becomes very real when you look at the data. The manufacturer claims the system malfunctioned, specifically their software. But how can we definitively prove that? In any other type of accident, we could inspect the vehicle's event data recorder, basically the black box. But in this case, the autonomous system is programmed to constantly write over old data to save space. So by the time emergency crews arrive, all that remains is proprietary information stored deep within the cloud. Even if Waymo shares some of that data with authorities, they control access to it. So proving whether the accident was caused by a bug or a glitch might be impossible unless the company decides to come clean. But let's say it was a software bug. As Waymo recalls millions of vehicles to install an over-the-air fix, who's responsible for the meantime? The manufacturer? The software provider? Or maybe even the human operator? With no clear answer, we end up like Judge Judy in the back of a courtroom, shaking my head and saying, "You all suck." And that brings us to our next problem, the trolley problem. How should an AI be programmed to behave when a collision is unavoidable? Should it always protect the lives of its passengers regardless of the outside circumstances? Or should it take into account the greater good, even if that means sacrificing the people inside? Right now, companies are grappling with these ethical dilemmas, and the answers will have life or death consequences. What's more, the algorithms that govern autonomous vehicles are only as good as the data they're trained on. If that data reflects existing societal biases, then the AI will inherit and potentially amplify those biases. For example, if an autonomous car is predominantly trained on footage from roads in rural America, it might not perform as well in crowded Indian or Chinese cities. So the question becomes, who's responsible when a biased algorithm causes an accident? The developer who wrote the code? The manufacturer who integrated the system? Or the operator who should have known better than to use it in certain situations? Finally, there's the infrastructure. Roads, traffic lights, sensors, and connectivity are all pieces of a smart city ecosystem that influence how self-driving cars behave. But who's liable when a connected vehicle crashes due to a hack? And who's to blame when a car performs perfectly according to its programming, but the surrounding environment takes an unexpected turn, like inclement weather or construction? We tend to think of car accidents as rare events with a clear chain of causality, but the reality is far more complicated. Consider this. Last year, a Tesla crashed into a parked police car after its autopilot system mistook the reflective film on the back window for a road. Tesla quickly pushed out a software update to fix the issue, but the National Transportation Safety Board still opened a special investigation. And it's not over yet. So who's to blame for that accident? The manufacturer for making a flawed system that couldn't distinguish between a car and a reflective film? The software developer for writing code that didn't account for edge cases like this? The operator for using full self-driving despite its limitations? Or the police for parking a fully marked police car in an unsafe location? Maybe it doesn't matter because self-driving cars will make up 60% of all vehicles on the road by 2035. So our current system of liability wouldn't work. Instead, we need a new framework that assigns fault across manufacturers, software providers, human operators, and even infrastructure providers. This multi-tiered approach acknowledges the shared responsibility of all parties involved and moves us closer to a world where everyone gets on board with autonomous vehicles. Oh, right, because even in 2025, there will still be people riding in the back seat. Huge thanks to my writer Ben for digging through the messy reality of autonomous driving and uncovering the truth about liability. And a big thank you to our supporters for allowing us to explore this exciting future of cars. As we look toward a future filled with self-driving cars, trucks, and even taxis, one thing is clear: the days of assigning blame to a single human driver are long gone. Now it's time to hold everyone accountable. Hey, want to see more autonomous vehicle content? Check out this playlist or this video. Want to support our team of writers and editors? Head over to our support page. We've got some exclusive perks to say thank you.